एक मिनट शुरू किया नहीं ना started. Respected dignitaries, parents and my dear students, online viewers, print and electronics media, a very good morning to one and all. I welcome you all to the lecture session on global warming, particle pollution, diseases and sustainability of the biosphere. I am Srinu Apikonda, curator at this museum. We are indeed lucky to have Professor Nabarun Ghosh with us. In fact, in the last year, in the month of December, we had a session here on the DNA technology, its applications, and some current scenario works. And we also had the experiments conducted in this laboratory. If you recollect those memories, and some of the students I think participated in that session as well, it helped a lot, and students could gain a lot of insights in that field. So we wish this time also it will go in the same line only, and we are happy to have Dr. Nabarun Ghosh with us. So before let me introduce Dr. Nabarun Ghosh. Dr. Nabarun Ghosh is serving as a professor of biology and advisor for biology education at West Texas A&M University, Canyon, Texas, an adjunct professor at the Department of Environmental Toxicology, Texas Tech University, Lubbock, Texas. He obtained 2 PhD degrees, PhD in cytogenetics from University of Kolkata, India, and PhD in biology from the University of North Texas, Denton, Texas. He had postdoctoral experience from the Birla College of Medicine, Houston. He has been teaching at the West Texas A&M University for the 20 years. He is involved in research for 32 years. His postdoctoral research involved ultrastructural studies using in situ hybridization, immune cytochemical labeling with transmission electron microscopy. He taught at the University of North Texas, Richland College, Dallas, South Texas College. Dr. Ghosh's research area is rather vast, knowledge in the research area, applications of the nanotechnology and biotechnology, cytogenetics, plant pathology, virology, mycology, allergic and pathogenic fungi, electron microscopy, tissue culture, aerobiology, air and water quality. Very diversified, areas and experience. He has collaboration with Penn State, Cornell University, Texas, UNT, and USDA labs. He has published more than 150 research articles, reported scientific journals, a book, chapter on the allergen immunology from CRC Press, New York in 2017. He served as the president for the Texas Society for the Microscopy. He is a member of the American Academy of Allergy, Asthma and Immunology and 15 other scientific societies. He presented his research nationally, internationally, all over the world. Dr. Ghosh has received 12 awards from the West Texas and A&M University and Texas and A&M University system. Distinguished Graduate Faculty Award in 2007, the Atterbury Honor Medal in 2016, followed by 2019, and the Texas A&M University system, Chancellor Teaching Excellence Award in 2010 and 2011 as well, ACUE Medal in 2022. His lab analysis the Allergens Index for the Channel 4 and 7 TV News. So we are indeed fortunate to have today with us Dr. Ghosh. And before we get into the session, now may I request our director sir, Sri Subodha Chaudhary sir, to welcome Dr. Nabarun Ghosh onto the lecture session with a flower bouquet. also request our director sir to felicitate and do the honor. May I now request our director sir, Sri Sobhate Chaudhary sir, to give his opening remarks for this session.
Very good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. On behalf of the oldest science museum of the country under Government of India, I welcome you all to today's program. And we are very fortunate to have with us Professor Nabarun Ghosh, and his profile and his spectrum of working has already been detailed out by my colleague Sri Srinu Apigonda. One thing I could tell you that in the recent past during COVID, it has been amply demonstrated the scope of biological sciences in our lives. There was a time when you used to think physics, chemistry, biology in isolation. Those days are gone. It is now science and science only as a complete spectrum. So if you need to have a fruitful career in biological science also, you need to know a lot of physics, chemistry, statistics, even ethics. So things have changed quite a lot from those days when we were the students. So in today's program, it will be, in fact, what has been shown, it is in 2 parts, but I will request Professor Ghosh to make it into 3. The first one will obviously, he will enlighten all of us with his lecture. The second one will be this hands-on activities, and another thing very important not only for you but also for your guardians and others who have come, how you can shape out your careers in future in whatever ways you would like to have. So I request him, because he is a university counselor also, so I tell him to spare few minutes on that issues. One thing I tell you, that if you see this year's Nobel Prize, whether it is in physics, it talks about, how to measure exactly the attoseconds, or the chemistry that made it possible, that has been recognized, how quantum dots have been precisely manufactured, and also in medicine it is mRNA vaccine. These are the areas into which this year's physics, chemistry and prizes on medicine have been awarded. But all these are leading to precise diagnostic abilities into tissues, into cells. So everything is finally leading into the realm of biological sciences. So it is a wonderful journey if you can really decide. And from Birla Industrial and Technological Museum, we are always trying to bring the latest that can be beneficial to the student community. If you see around, not only in different academic universities or labs, also in some parts of the world, if those scientists or technologies happen to be from this region, you'll find owe their career to BITM. In fact, BITM often becomes the launching pad of a great career for all of you. And nobody knows 20 years from now, someone from you will be here to address the next generation of students. Anyway, I welcome you all. I welcome the guardians. I welcome the distinguished guests. I must make mention of the stupendous work our mentors, both in innovation hubs and in biotech labs, they are doing around the year. The way they try to nurture the young minds, hope that they will keep on doing in the days to come. With all that, I thank you all, and I will request all of you to encourage your friends, your guardian, and your known circles to spread a message to do come to BITM, because we are into a world of a mall culture. We prefer to go to mall instead of coming to museums. Coming to BITM is a different ball game. Please do come, shape out your mind for a healthy future. Thank you all. Now I will request Professor Nabarun Ghosh to take over the rest of the session and enlighten the gallery. Professor Ghosh.
Good morning. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Chakraborty, the director, and Sinu for nice introduction. Appreciate that very much. Before I begin, we'll watch a brief video here. I know you probably understand Bengali. If not, I'll translate it a little bit in English. Just keep it, and before we start, just a little bit introduction, as the director sir was talking about. Like, we were lucky enough to come here at BITM. That's always in my memory, watching the things, going to the equipment and observing what was happening. Fortunately, we were in hair school, the student, and only few of us were selected to come over here, and we were lucky, and that was a great inspiration. So as he said, you, your colleagues, friends, whoever is there, little kids, just bring them, okay, and watch. Like the city I'm there in Canyon, Texas, West Texas A&M, we have in Amarillo the Discovery Center. That is exactly like BITM. I felt like as I went over there, what they do, just like little kids, I was watching them. I was feeling like it's a great job, inspiring the coming generations. Okay, with that, let's start. It's a very brief video. Sorry.
যে মিলেনিয়াম পার্কে বসে গঙ্গার হাওয়া খান, সেই পার্কের চেয়ারগুলো বছর দশেক পরে টাইটানিকের মতো গঙ্গার তলায় ইতিহাসের সাক্ষী, বা যে ধর্মতলায় দৌড়ে গিয়ে বাস ধরছেন সেখানে লঞ্চ ভাসছে। হ্যাঁ, সবই কল্পনা, কিন্তু বাস্তব হতে বোধহয় বেশি দেরি নেই। হাতে রয়েছে আর কয়েকটা বছর। এই ধরুন 2030 সাল, এরপরেই বিশ্বের নামকরা বড় বড় শহর ডুবে যাবে জলের তলায়। সেই তালিকায় আছে থাইল্যান্ডের ব্যাংকক থেকে মার্কিন যুক্তরাষ্ট্রের নিউ অরলিন্স, ইটালির ভেনিস থেকে গায়ানার জর্জ টাউন, ভিয়েতনামের হোচিমিন সিটি থেকে নেদারল্যান্ডসের আমস্টারডাম। এর সঙ্গে জুড়ে নিন আরো দুটো নাম, আমাদের দেশের মুম্বাই এবং কলকাতা। বিভিন্ন গবেষণা এমন ভয়ঙ্কর ইঙ্গিত দিচ্ছে।
তাপমাত্রা বাড়ছে সব জায়গায়, সারা পৃথিবীর সমস্ত জায়গায়। এটা অ্যাভারেজ গ্লোবাল টেম্পারেচার বেড়ে চলেছে। সমস্ত বিজ্ঞানীরা বলছেন, এরা একদম গবেষণা করে এবং ক্যালকুলেট করে পরিষ্কার বলে দিচ্ছেন এই এই জায়গায় এইভাবে ডুবে যাবে। সেটা কোনো জায়গায় হয়তো 50 বছর, কোনো জায়গায় 20 বছর, কেউ কেউ বলছে 2030-এর মধ্যে এই সমস্ত শহর যেগুলো বলা হচ্ছে এগুলো জলে ডুবে যাবে যদি আমরা কোনো স্টেপ না নিই।
প্রশ্ন উঠছে, কেন এই সংকট তৈরি হলো? উত্তর, বিশ্ব উষ্ণায়ন। হিমবাহ গলে সমুদ্রের জলস্তর ক্রমশ বাড়ছে। কয়েক ফুট পর্যন্ত বাড়বে সমুদ্রের জলতল। সমুদ্রের জলস্তর বাড়লে নদীতে নোনা জল ঢুকতে শুরু করবে, উপকূলীয় শহরগুলির জন্য যা মারাত্মক হতে চলেছে।
গাছ মরে যাচ্ছে, গাছ মরে যাওয়া মানেই কার্বন ডাইঅক্সাইড লেভেল বাড়ছে এবং অক্সিজেন কমে যাচ্ছে। যেটা হতে থাকছে সেটা হচ্ছে বরফের স্তর। পোলার আইস ক্যাপস আর মেল্টিং, গ্লেসিয়ার্স আর মেল্টিং, হিমবাহগুলো গলে যাচ্ছে।
কয়েক বছরের মধ্যেই তলিয়ে যেতে পারে বিজ্ঞানীদের এমন আশঙ্কার তালিকায় ওপরের দিকেই রয়েছে কলকাতার নাম। অথচ কলকাতার অবস্থান যে সমুদ্র লাগোয়া তা তো নয়। তারপরেও কেন এই সংকট? ভূতত্ত্ববিদদের বক্তব্য, কলকাতার উপর যেভাবে লোড ডিস্ট্রিবিউশন হয়েছে তাতে শহরের মাটি বসে যাচ্ছে। এই ওজন শহর নিতে পারছে না।
So I think the video explained everything. Those who understand Bengali, if you don't understand Bengali, still you can see the video clip and understand exactly what's happening. I'm trying to explain that in my talk over there. They already introduced, so my talk today will be global warming, particle pollution, diseases and sustainability of the biosphere. So we are trying to look at that. They already introduced me, so I don't want to go through everything. Just the picture, different types of microscopy I did, light and fluorescence and transmission electron microscopy, digital microscopy, and scanning electron microscopy. Next one, please. I appear on the CBS, the national news channel in United States, and also the Health Watch channel, to discuss more about exactly what's happening, what is particle pollution, why the allergy rate is increasing, that kind of things. They ask various things. Even recent breakout of the cyanobacteria and producing cyanotoxin, those who know about the green stuff we see in water. And that basically killed 8 people, including the kids and some dogs, because of that. So that kind of things, air, water quality and all those are covered. So the good part here, when I traveled there and talked about, the best part I was sharing, like at University of Oxford, we have very close relationship with West Bengal and particularly with Calcutta, if you believe it or not. So they were showing the blueprint of the Shivpur Botanical Garden over there. The plants, those were planted that time. Lots of literature from the flora of West Bengal, at that time Bombay, and at that time Madras, all those were there. So most of the things, those who know biology, they have the information and collected materials from Carolus Linnaeus. So I took some pictures, so that was a great experience. So I normally take the students to Canyon State Park. We are fortunate to have there. It is a miniature of the canyon that is we call Grand Canyon in United States. So you can, the good part here, you can drive all the way down. That's where we are standing. Basically, it's much way down, and we collect the samples, we analyze them, And so these are the students. Okay, so the book came out, What's in Your Air, and then from CRC Press. The next one, please. This is the book I'm calling everybody. That's a series will come out from Springer, and I am in the editorial board. Shelley Goel is Dr. Shelley Goel is my student. She's in Austin and helping us to get, and Dave Ghosh, so getting the book published on nanotechnology. There will be a series on sustainability as well. Some of my graduate students working on the particle pollution, particulate matter, PM 2.5. Actually, Dr. Banerjee is here, Dr. Prabir Banerjee. He is a medical doctor, but also worked with me on PM 2.5, so I'll talk about that a little bit. So the other line, go back please. The last line is important. Our recent focus on BBC World News. And I think I have the link, I'm not going to show you in the board, but it was focused over there. Now I'm coming to little bit about, with our concern, Indian Science Congress. It was a great forum, and I'm a life member still now, life member of Indian Science Congress, back from 1988. So it is a forum for the students, researchers, and I'll move to the next slide. And the news I marked over there, here as you can see, if you read that, I think in a week back, that was in the newspaper, and telling that DST, Department of Science and Technology, taking out all the support from Indian Science Congress. I'm sure Dr. Das remembers, like presenting paper at that time, like when you were a research student, like you are not invited to big conferences because of monetary fact, your position and everything. But Indian Science Congress embraced us. And fortunately, I was in the Young Scientist Award panel, and they used to pay, that time it was big money, 2,800 rupees. They used to pay, and then I was there, and in the news, as you can see, there was kind of one incident. Shubhabrata knows that I had kind of passion in photography, so I took my big lens, camera and everything, and I was trying to take the picture of Prime Minister at that time, P.V. Narasimha Rao, when he arrived and addressing, and I took that and trying to take the picture. If you remember, previous years we had assassination of Rajiv Gandhi, so that's why they were kind of concerned, and they came and cordoned me. So finally I showed my ID, and when they took me, and then Dr. Ghosh was also supposed to present a paper. I was not doctorate at that time, but anyway, was given a place in inner cordon, so I was sitting over there when they realized that I was also in Young Scientist program, but I was interested in taking pictures, so I took some close-up picture of Prime Minister. But anyway, what I'm trying to say, it was a very joyful experience, just not science. And two of our mentors, Professor Archana Sharma and Professor A.K. Sharma, they were presidents probably 3-4 times. And so, sending you research paper, presenting over there, that was a prestigious thing. So I would recommend, like, we should continue that Indian Science Congress with a lots of history. I don't know whether you recognize this gentleman, Acharya Prafullo Chandra Rai. We feel proud of talking about him, and there are various big scientists who presented over there and did work. At that time, at least 50, I'm telling you, 50 foreign scientists from United States, UK, all over the world, they would come to present here in India, Indian Science Congress. So lots of history. I would request that the thing is reinstated. Indian Science Congress is reinstated, because Everyman Science is the journal published from Indian Science Congress. I used to receive, recent years I'm not getting that. I used to receive in USA in my mailbox, and I was feeling like it's coming from India. I touched the brown paper, so, and all the articles from the researchers. let's go forward. Thank you. I'm talking about little bit giving you the idea. Most of you know about it, but global warming, what is happening exactly? As you can see the layers, okay? Troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. These are over there. And what is happening actually, if you think about greenhouse effect, so the non-science people will tell, well, greenhouse is causing the global warming, so let's destroy all the greenhouses all over the world, the problem will be solved. That's why the problem, you have to understand science. Why is that? I'm going to talk about with the COVID vaccine when it's coming. You have to understand science, that's very important. Doesn't matter which area you are, as long as you are alive, and now we know about COVID, right? So everybody knows a little bit science of COVID. So basically this is another big threat that is coming. It is going on, global warming. So how this is happening? All of you know in the greenhouse, as we keep the plants, what is happening? The light is coming from outside, the sunlight, and inside temperature is warmer and warmer because light is trapped over there, and the heat generated, it cannot escape the glass house because glass is non-conductive to heat. I repeat, glass is non-conductive to heat. So that is the science here. So what is happening? That is called greenhouse effect. It has nothing to do those greenhouses, those are very small area, right? So exactly the same phenomenon we can see that's happening with the earth and its atmosphere, and that's why we call it greenhouse effect. So what is happening here? Sunlight is coming and falling on the surface of earth, and when it is night or the light and the heat produced here is supposed to be dissipated, cannot, because of the layer formed over there with the greenhouse gases. I'm coming to that point. So what is happening over there? So warming up, and then heat got trapped. The temperature is increasing day by day, and we will see that effect of that. So the greenhouse gases, as we can see here, everybody knows carbon dioxide. That's one major problem. When it is winter here, you can see carbon dioxide mixed with vapor forming some kind of fog. Now, why carbon dioxide comes down to the earth? Anybody can tell me? Why carbon dioxide is coming towards the earth instead of going upward? Because it is a very heavy gas. We still remember in our chemistry lab in higher school, like you have to do science is something like that. We are lucky that we had that experiment done when the carbon dioxide was produced from the carbonate. We had just a flask or something, or a beaker, and you hold it. Okay, so it is when it is filled up with carbon dioxide, you cannot see it, but you have a flamed candle, turn it upside down, candle is off. It is so heavy. It is so heavy, it's coming down. So the same way methane, which is produced from various types of resources, we'll get into that. Methane is another one, another culprit. So carbon dioxide and methane. Next slide, please. So other greenhouse gases like water vapor, nobody considers that lots of water vapor get mixed with those gases, and it's forming cloud. The cloud on the surface of earth. What is cloud basically? Again, a layer that is trapping the heat. So I tell over there to the students, like in dry hot summer you are wearing a thick jacket and standing in the parking lot when it's bright sun is there and you're standing like this. So what's going to happen? You will start sweating very soon. That is not healthy. Same thing I tell the high school students to understand. It is like that earth is wearing a jacket. The others are nitrous oxide. Everybody knows about ozone. and the threat about that. So these are the greenhouse gases. Next one, please. So these are basically, from where are you getting them? Everybody knows about carbon dioxide. Any burning of the fossil fuel, anything you are burning this winter time, the worst thing happens, because I'm talking about the pollution. We should have stringent law not to burn the tire. The tires are burnt. I have seen that when I was a little kid, but I had no knowledge about that at that time. But as you know, if you burn a tire, thousands of carcinogenic chemicals are released from that with that smoke. And when you inhale that, I have seen most of the people are coughing, sneezing, you have trouble in breathing. We have to stop that. I know that poor people, they get to make them warm. That's why you talk about fuel wood or something. You have to do in New York City. You know, poor people are there everywhere. If you go to New York City in the cold, they make the a fire for them, so that people can surround over there and they can get warmth from there, but not burning the tire, because that is very, very dangerous. So from there we are getting most of the things. Another threat for the global warming is the loss of forest. I'm coming to that, deforestation. So carbon dioxide is 85% of all greenhouse gas emissions from the human source in the United States. Coal, natural gas, and oil for energy. Electricity production is also very much, producing carbon dioxide. Anything you do, now you have a term, they call it carbon imprint. For making a chunk of meat or some green vegetables, they need to produce some carbon dioxide, and that is called carbon imprint. Methane is potent greenhouse gas and more effective at trapping heat than carbon dioxide. It's coming out from coal mining, landfill, natural gas, petroleum production, wastewater treatment, and rice cultivation as well. So methane is produced over there. Now, rice cultivation, though, if you go to the villages, at least I remember, some kind of methane is burning, and they used to call in Bengali alea. And we used to think about there is a ghost or something. But when we learned science, we figured out that's nothing but methane. So rice field, paddy field is another one. Nitrous oxide is 300 times more effective at trapping heat than carbon dioxide. Fluorinated gases we talk about, that is high global warming potential. And industries, anything, semiconductors, aluminum, magnesium, or what we call chlorofluorocarbon, CFC, used for refrigeration, that is also another source. Next one, please. Now I'm bringing your attention to very important area I have been discussing with scientists and students in my class as well. This paper came out in Nature, one of the best journals in the world, and 16 different scientists from different countries worked on that. And what they are talking about here is chlorophyll synthesis is going down. Chlorophyll synthesis is going down. Why chlorophyll is important for us? Anybody? Just simple high school level stuff. What is chlorophyll and why that is important? Anybody? You can answer in Bengali. I understand Bengali answer.
Green pigment in leaves.
Okay. Louder please, and stand up and then tell. Don't worry. It's not pointed. I'm not giving you points. I'm not teaching here. No quiz or anything. So anybody wants to talk about why chlorophyll? See, that's good treatment. So anybody is kind of dozing, is sleepy, that's a nice treatment. They will wake up. Yes, go ahead please.
So chlorophyll is the green pigment that is present in the green plants, in the leaves and in other green parts that traps the sunlight, in the presence of which carbon dioxide is converted into oxygen.
Very nice, very nice. What level are you studying?
So right now I'm in BSc Biotech Honors third year.
You want to come and teach in my lab? I need a TA now. I have been telling to all of my professor friends at University of Calcutta. Thank you so much. Okay, you can see that. Yeah, she is perfectly right. Chlorophyll. I don't know how much you can realize that is the molecule of life. Chlorophyll is there, that's why we, what we call higher forms of organisms, are surviving on the earth. Because chlorophyll not only just feeding us by the process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a basic biochemical reaction. As Director Chakraborty was talking about, today's biology or anything is not really one subject. Lots of biophysics is involved in chlorophyll, chloroplast. If you look at chloroplast ultrastructure, that is unique machine. Scientists could not copy that. We cannot produce oxygen in that way unless we do chemically or something. So chlorophyll is a unique molecule that is not only feeding us, producing all kinds of carbohydrate, protein and fat in the plants, and we consume that. Now somebody will tell, I don't like to eat herbs, I'm not vegetarian, I like to eat meat or fish. Do you know how those like cattle, they're surviving? Just eating, eating the grass and everything. So it's not like, doesn't matter whether you are a vegetarian, or think about like carnivores, like lion, tiger, they don't eat grass, but what they are eating, those herbivores, they eat the plant products, and that's how they are surviving. Simple thing is food chain, as you see, it's connected. We are connected to each other, believe it or not. So now getting back, if the chlorophyll synthesis is interrupted, first thing will happen, of course, shortage of food materials. But think about the plants. If they die, we don't get oxygen production. So that is the major threat. These 16 scientists from different countries, they observe. And why that is happening? Let me explain. Those who are interested, you can get the link from Sinu sir, or just type basically, on Google search nowadays. Although you may not download the paper, but you will get it. At least abstract is visible. Temperature. Look at the temperature, 43.5 degrees Celsius and more than 49.9 degrees Celsius. Last summer I was in India. In Asian countries I visited Thailand, Bangkok, then I went to Japan, and then when I returned to United States, all the places I felt like I'm burning. It's so hot, so hot. I have never seen that. I stayed in the Dallas area almost for 10 to 11 years. When I arrived over there, only the news they were focusing on in the airport, on the TV, that is temperature. 52 degrees Celsius, I converted from Fahrenheit. 118 degree Fahrenheit temperature, and went for almost 40 days. In this paper they are telling, if that high temperature continues for more than 44 to 50 days, photosystem 2, those who know about photosynthesis, will be knocked out. There will be no photosynthesis, and then defoliation, loss of leaves. And loss of leaves means plants will die, trees will die. And we basically visualize the thing, then learn, right? So it's happening already. You have seen I was taking the students outside, and one of our faculty member, who is internationally famous, Dr. Jim Rogers, he pointed that many of the trees are dying in Texas Panhandle area. And they were trying to chop it down, but he said, no, don't cut it down, because many of those trees are habitat for the small mammals and the birds. So that's a different aspect, but think of, if the defoliation goes on, what's the future? That's why I asked the question. Next one, please. So there are quite a few number of acts, Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, Toxic Substance Control Act, etc. But unfortunately, I repeat, unfortunately, those are not followed sometimes even in United States. Next one. So the next threat, besides the, loss of chlorophyll, defoliation, less productivity, I'm telling you, all over the world, I work with closely with the agricultural scientists, and they are telling the production is lower. Crop production going down. That's the major question, major threat. So with that, scientists predict that go back please. Go back, yeah. Scientists predict that the constant fluctuation of global temperature can lead to mutation among the pathogens. I had discussed the fact, I'll show you a picture with world-renowned scientists who developed a vaccine which saved their lives, and they work with microbiology. My good friend, another Dr. Ghosh, who is with the Cincinnati School of Medicine, we are discussing, and he was telling, with high temperature, as a background of microbiology, he can assure that when temperature goes high, I can tell you, and the fluctuation, as a doctor you can tell, temperature goes up and down, you see people start coughing, right? So pathogens love that. When it heats up, yes, when I grow the plates, microbiological plates, we put in incubator, and temperature goes up and down, there are a lot more colonies than. So what is happening in the lab, that is happening in nature, that's what we are. Next one please. Now there was a great debate that killed so many people in the world, right? Origin of coronavirus. There are lots of discussions. Dr. Sanjay Gupta, he is the CNN Healthline scientist, and he was talking, he took interview, went to the Wuhan lab, everybody knows, the lab in China. And they studied everything and they figured out most likely, remember this group of scientists were unbiased and they were dealing with science, and they looked at and they figured out most likely there was leakage from the China lab. What is leakage? Let me tell you. I had the molecular biology lab over there. I got a funding from federal government, couple of $1 million, and what they were asking to work with some pathogens. Because I had experience how to make the drug-resistant pathogen or something like that, which can easily be used as the part of bioterrorism. Back from 94 to 96, I used that. Of course, I burned with autoclave all of them because my target was to study and learn. You can make a bacterial cell resistant to all antibiotics available in the market. You can make them 80 times more resistant. We did that in the lab. So it is doable. But I refuse that grant because of the fact of safety. So when students are dealing with that, if it is released, then it will be life-threatening and it's a big mess in the society. But anyway, when I visited in the labs of China, that's my understanding, they were not what we call Z plus security here. So it's kind of loose, I would say, okay? So you have to have really permission, and there are lots of things. Believe it or not, when I took the courses in NIH, National Institute of Health in Maryland, United States, they checked my background and everything for 30 minutes. They even called my university, whether you know Dr. Ghosh. I said, go to the website, and they looked at that. Then they let me go, they issued the badge. I was taking a course in bioinformatics over there, they let me go, okay? So they check the background, then they let you go. But that kind of stringent rules are not there in China. That's unfortunate, and that's probably led the leakage. It's not that easy, like only from the animal market or meat market. Could be, but most likely it was released from. That's why it got mutated so fast. And I'm coming to that point. Next one, please. Now, this gentleman and scientist is almost 70-year-old, one of my kind of mentor. I used to consider him because he is also from tropical medicine. We used to hear his lecture. He was not direct mentor to me, but we always used to attend his lecture at Baylor College of Medicine in Houston. He came to India quite a few times, 7 to 10 times. He worked in detail on Indian pathogens, viruses, bacteria, everything. And he presented in 2023 February in the session where I was fortunate, next slide, to discuss with him. When I said, sir, I was a postdoctoral fellow at Baylor College of Medicine. Although I was in neuroscience, but he used to listen to your lecture. He went on talking with me. We had lots of discussions. So what he was talking in the lecture, you'll be surprised to know. Next one. You'll be surprised to know all the scientists you think like Galileo or all others were objected. Bruno was burnt out. And now in 2023, nothing happened like that. Wrong idea. Scientists receive threats all over the world. I received threats. So these scientists, Dr. Peter Hotez, you'll be surprised to know people there in Houston, they are trying to kill him. They were trying to kill him. And not only that, federal government, obviously for an internationally famous scientist like that, they wanted to send some guards, but he refused. He said, I'm in academia, so I don't need any guard or anything. And he was sharing the idea, believe it or not, he used to go to his lab and he would not come back to his home for 7 days or 8 days. Continuously, thousands of hours working with the postdocs and everyone to get the things done, mRNA vaccine. That's what the directors are mentioned, and I'm going to get into that in a second. So it is there everywhere, believe it or not. They were trying to kill him, and there was something called anti-vax movement and agency in a forum developed in Houston. They had even t-shirt telling anti-vax. The idea was they were telling that they will take your Bible, they will take your gun, and they will vaccinate you to make you sterile. So I'm not telling you can read his book, Dr. Peter Hotez's book, or go to Google search, you'll get YouTube, his lecture is there, listen to that. So don't think like everybody is educated. And he was appreciating, like at that time, at 1.1 billion people were vaccinated in India without any resistance. That's a good part about India he was talking about. 400,000 Americans died, according to his lecture, because he has statistics and everything, just not for taking vaccine. Believe me, there were more than enough vaccine, at least 2 or 3 doses per head. And those got wasted because nobody took them. And people died. So more than 1 million people died. Okay? We have lost quite a few good number of friends and everything over there. So the thing is, they refused to take vaccine. What Dr. Peter Hotez, if you go to the YouTube or listen to his lecture, he's requesting biology teachers, biology professors, please, please, teach your students so that they know vaccination will not kill you. There may be in 10 million one case where somebody was, complications, but vaccine doesn't kill you, and mRNA vaccine is 100% safe. Now the question is, what's the story of coronavirus and what is ribozyme? I'm talking about that. Thomas Cake, 1989, received Nobel Prize in Chemistry because of this discovery. what he is telling here, RNA can work like a catalyst, and it is considered as an enzyme. We call it ribozyme. That ribozyme can cut and rejoin any part of RNA. Let's go to the next one. So as I said, it can work as biological catalyst. And there are lots of, if you are in molecular biology, you learn about RNA splicing. That's a process I teach in molecular biology, cytotechnology class. And gene expression. So everything is controlled by this RNA, mRNA. So anybody, what is RNA, by the way? Ribonucleic acid. Very good, you guys know. So the series is what we call central dogma. It goes from DNA to mRNA to protein. DNA to mRNA to protein. And this basic thing is applied everywhere, including medicine. And your health is totally dependent with what kind of protein is synthesized in your body. So in the cancerous cells, all of you know, like you have more chromosomes. How many chromosomes we have in human system, in our cells? 20 is equal to 46, right? Good, good. Yeah, so if you have more chromosomes, then more protein is synthesized. Our body is such fragile, as a doctor you know better. More protein synthesized, that's bad. Less protein synthesized, that's bad. You have to be optimized. So what is happening over there with the ribozyme that can cut the RNA? Next slide, please. So basically, what kind of virus was coronavirus? That was RNA virus. Very good, all of you know that. One positively strand RNA, that's what we call one single. So that's why mutation was so easy. And if you decide to fly next day and you get mutated, it's not happening in millions of years.
All the other viruses are muted, right? But it's,
Yeah, they can.
so there is no
hepatitis.
vaccine for hepatitis.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah,
not a vaccine,
exactly.
it's a DNA virus. Huh?
Yeah, yeah.
That
Because
is problem
it's
with
getting
the-
mutated so fast. Thanks, Dr. Banerjee is pointing over there.
It's for
And
ribozyme only.
yes, exactly. And I asked that question in International Infectious Disease Conference in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh. 2019 I was there. And there were scientists from NIH, NSF, there was a panel, they were sitting over there, from America, from UK, there are a good number of scientists. I asked them one question. The vaccine you produce, maybe most likely, as I know from NIH, during February, March, that time, but you send that in October and you provide that vaccine, flu vaccine or anything to the citizens. Now the question here, when you are sending that to them, by that time your virus got mutated quite a few times. Think the logic. And 5 minutes, no answer, I have the video. They could not answer. Then finally, one lady scientist just told Dr. Ghosh, you are right, but we need some time to send the vaccine all over the United States, the big country. And also the problem is there, like, we cannot cover, we try to cover all kinds of variants available during that time, but if it gets mutated, nobody can do anything. So mRNA vaccine that helps to prevent infection by preparing the body to fight foreign invaders. It is just like you have something, some weapon that is developed in your body to fight against any virus, bacteria or something. That is the idea of vaccine. But earlier they used like harmless piece of particulate from bacteria or virus. Nowadays they are using mRNA. Next one please. So that is totally different idea, and that is harmless. That's why it is preferred now. Messenger RNA is the type of RNA that's necessary for protein production. We have been talking about that. So once cell finish making a protein, they quickly break down the mRNA, and mRNA from vaccines does not enter into the nucleus and does not alter the DNA. So you don't have any change. Okay? That's why it is the safe one. Next one, please.
Also the vaccination we have with the weekend virus or the virus,
Right.
it used to take time in establishing the
Right,
word
right,
genetic.
exactly.
But for here,
Yeah.
harmlessly it can act.
mRNA can start working very, very fast. Next one, please. So once produced, antibodies, as you know, the antigen and antibody concept. Gen means, just remember in this way, gen means producer, like hydrogen, water producer, right? H2O. So we call it hydrogen. Gen means producer, keep that in mind. So here, the term antigen means which will produce antibody, what we call, in your body. So the antibodies which are produced in your body remain in the body even after the body has rid itself of the pathogen, so that the immune system can quickly respond if it is getting exposed to it. So RNA vaccination not only just efficient as Director Sir was talking about, but it is also very safe. It is efficient and safe. Next one. So I'm not going through everything. Like here, that's a major problem. Dr. Fauci, probably you heard that name. Many of my doctor friends were lucky to work with him back 2013 when there were outbreak of SARS. In Dallas area, he was working for almost 1 week continuously for saving the lives of the patient. And he's internationally famous scientist. He used to come on CNN all the time. Dr. Fauci was talking about his life was threatened. His family, his daughter and wife were threatened on the road. So scientists who are working, they will be under threat as well. I'll talk more about the situation what I faced. If you go 1997, I was a researcher at University of North Texas. So I'm sharing that with you. That will be your job if you are a teacher, if you are an educator, if you are a scientist, to make the people learn about. So I received a phone call from the Dallas Morning News, Dallas Observer. And one of my ex-students, she told me that Dr. Ghosh, I took your class, I want to see you. I said, okay, no problem. She just came and told, do you know that in close to Denton, Texas, we are going to have a nuclear facility, radioisotope. And Dr. Ghosh, you talked about and showed some slides to us that any nuclear radiation is bad and that effect can be there, for thousands of years. And that can cause mutation and all those. So basically what I'm trying to say, she took my interview and interviewed also probably 4 or 5 more professors. And next day morning in the front page of Dallas Observer, it came out that I said such and such things. And Dr. Ronald Vela, who was the president of American Microbial Society as well, very knowledgeable, I was his student as well. Dr. Smith and all others, they talk about that. Now you have thrown a stone to the honeybee, so basically they started calling. They said, you are a student for PhD, you came to Texas, right? I said, yes. Why are you getting bothered about local things? Just forget about it. They called my, in my office, to my dorm even, and telling that you should leave. I said, yeah, I already have a PhD from India. I can leave for Australia, no problem at all. And so that went on, but when it was publicized, the good thing, they believe in liberty in the United States. So all of us met in a civic center, what I'm talking about, and then they basically agitated, and the company representative told, it is totally 100% safe. And we are producing using in medical purpose radioisotopes. I said, yeah, that's what the Russians said about Chernobyl, 100% safe. That time, the Japan disaster Fukushima did not happen at that time. It happened later, 2013. But anyway, so good part, that time Dean, Dr. Rolly Schaefer, he supported. And all the scientists and professors, they said, Dr. Ghosh is right, we are right, it's not And when the people are agitated, everybody will be scared, mob fury. They will just kill you, they will not listen. When I said, listen to me, I go for science fairs, like, local schools, and the area in Denton, at least 15 or 20 high schools and public schools are there. Little kids, when they get exposed to isotopes, you never know. Following 100 generations, you can see the effect. We know that because my work at University of Calcutta was effect of gamma radiation on cell and chromosome. So I know the effect very well. There will be breakage of chromosome and all these things. But anyway, I'll talk about that later. So let's go stick to that. So I'm talking about here antibiotic resistance, what I was talking about, and how it is happening, and simply give you the idea how we can prevent that. Next one. So we have been working in my molecular biology lab, like this is A.D. Caraway, this is Debabrata Mahapatra. We were checking the plates, bacterial plates after transformation. As you know, transformation is a process by which bacteria pick up the foreign DNA. Yes, very good. All of you know that. Very nice. So now tell me, if you put some antibiotics in your garbage bin, and those bacteria, they got exposed to the antibiotics. They will take that and they will synthesize, and I will discuss more how it's little bit about, not just touching over there, how they develop antibiotic resistance. Next one, please. So we published a paper on MRSA, they call it MRSA, or methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus. All over the world, including India, there are lots of cases, the patients, they were dying because of MRSA infection. Surgeons from Texas, BSA Hospital, Northwest Texas Hospital, my good friends, they shared the idea. They said, like, Dr. Ghosh, 50% of the patients, they are coming back to us, visiting us with MRSA infection. So we are trying to see how it can reduce and all those. Next one. So basically the idea, as you know, the bacteria can start becoming resistant. And simple way I'm trying to explain that to you instead of looking over there. First time I went to United States, back 90s, I had a roommate. And that roommate was also a good friend of my school friend. Dev Darshan knew him. So he was a friend of that. He was a Bengali guy. And he got sick and got like antibiotics. 15 days, 2 caplets every day. After taking 7 days, he was feeling much better. On that Friday, he was going for party. And in front of me, he was trash out the antibiotic pill. Over there, the medicine is given in United States, you know, that orange color vial with your name, the prescription, doctor's name, phone number, everything. He was throwing away in the trash can. I said, what are you going to do? He said, you know, this antibiotic is basically making me sick. I'm getting dizzy and everything, so I'll throw away the antibiotic. I said, please don't do that. I'm your roommate. If you have some kind of resistant bacteria generated, then I'm going to die because that will be transmitted to me. I tried to explain, he was computer science, doing masters and that, so he did not. Okay, since you are requesting, I'll take this time, that kind of thing. That's why I'm here. Not just the biologist, everyone should understand what wrong you are doing if you throw away the antibiotic pills in trash can. Those will go in the garbage bin, those will be broken. Bacteria will get exposed, and they will, using next slide, and next slide please. So these are some of the bacteria, E. coli, Klebsiella pneumoniae, and Staphylococcus, etc., Salmonella. And most boring of all, pathogens don't respect international borders. We know that very well about COVID. Next one. So I was trying to get into this slide, which is basically the plasmid. The plasmid is right here. The extragenomic circular DNA molecule. And that's where it can get the gene for antibiotic resistance. As I said, personally, I worked with Pseudomonas putida, one strain that had plasmid, and that plasmid, what they can synthesize the gene, antibiotic resistant gene, and we call it STR for streptomycin resistant, and then it synthesized 80 times more plasmids. 80 of those plasmids. How do I know? By enzyme assay and checking, increase the dose of antibiotic, still survive. And nowadays with genetic engineering, it's very easy, you can make that. Okay? So basically that's how we get this antibiotic resistant bacteria. Next one, please. So that's the diagram. It shows clearly the blue one is antibiotic resistant that survived in the plate with antibiotics. Then that multiplies, that's the scary part, and that can happen in your body as well. That's what I was telling you. My roommate who just got the antibiotic pills, think of like he had a throat infection, then those bacteria get exposed to that antibiotic. They develop the antibiotic resistant gene in their plasmid, they multiply in 1,000, and I get that antibiotic resistant bacteria. I go to the doctor, and Dr. Banerjee gives me the standard antibiotic that doesn't work, I die. So that is the threat. And if you go to, I'm not going through statistics and everything, it's boring, but if you go to the NIH, National Institute of Health website, you will see how many, more than 6,000 Americans die because of antibiotic resistance in bacteria every year. The number is increasing day by day. Next one, please. So you can see the map here. You can see the map here. So that's our India. Mortality per 10,000 population is so high here. And North America it has also, and Europe and some other countries. So basically, antibiotic resistance is a major threat. And that is also initiated with misuse of antibiotic. Next one, please. These are the list, year-wise, how many antibiotic resistance bacteria were produced. Antibiotic resistance among the microbial organisms has been increased over time. It's more and more. Next one, please. So now this is the most important slide I would like to request you. And I think this lecture will be on YouTube, and I share with my students as well, research students. So this is for learning. Steps to be taken to stop the antibiotic resistance. Stop overuse and misuse of antibiotics. Something happened to you, just take antibiotic. Unless it's life-threatening, try to do some other things. Okay? Seeking advice from a qualified health professional before using antibiotic. Take proper exact dose that my friend was throwing away of antibiotic prescribed by the physician. The prescribed antibiotics following a health professional advice on how to take them. I tell my students you should have little bit respect. Many of my ex-students are physicians over there. They're serving in Texas in different areas. Sharing a story when you are proud of your student. Like I was at Baylor College of Medicine, and you have to wait for longer time to get their shuttle bus and then get into that. So I was, I was sitting over there in a seat, and then a big guy just came forward with glasses, and he told me, "Dr. Ghosh, what are you doing here?" I looked at him, I said, and he said, "My name is Kevin Smith." I said, "Oh yes, you are Kevin. You have become so big now." He was in 1994, he was in my biology class. Out of 266 students, his score was the highest. So I remember him. And he said he was working on his MD. So I was really proud, and we used to meet in the canteen and everything. So sometimes the doctors, what they do, they're giving you antibiotic, but you stop taking or not taking or taking overdose, like I will get cured. I take 5 of those together. things are happening. Believe me, the people do that. So you have to publicize the idea. This is so important. Okay, I'm thinking about making a TV thing, TV show over there as well. Talk more about this is very important. Director sir was kind enough to invite me, and I delivered a lecture that was in English as well as in Bengali, and it was presented to the people. Okay, so that type of things we need to do. Okay, so basically I tell the students to have minimum respect to the doctors who received MD degree after long work, MBBS here. So that's one thing. Educating family and friends about antibiotic resistance. Do not throw away, don't trash it, extra things. Prevent the spread of infection by, everybody knows that, and you are doing washing hands regularly, prepare food hygienically, keeping vaccinations up to date. Next slide. So we isolated quite a few number of bacteria from the air. So bacteria are there everywhere. Remember that. Next one. Also showed you the picture. Her name is Cynthia Pratt, and Cynthia worked, she is now teaching. Cynthia worked with BSA hospital over there and on MRSA. Next one. Yeah, so the graph shows we used a nanotechnology that produces lots of air purifiers, and I personally use it. They're trying to get it in India as well. This is a mask that uses nanotechnology and it supplies air. So as you put it over there, you don't feel suffocated. So that came out from UK, the collaborative work we do. So the machine, we produce nanotechnology, and using nanotechnology that shows like they killed the bacteria, and then finally you see the colonies, the number got stuck here, which means they're not increasing, they're not multiplying. So that was focused on BBC News recently, as I said, BBC World News. Next one. Talking a little bit about genes. All the genes are there in our body, almost 40,000 genes. Next one. So Human Genome Project, just a little bit flavor, that gave us lots of, that's a reservoir of knowledge in biology and genetics. We know which gene is working on what kind of, responsible for what type of disease, disorder, so that most likely in the future, all of you know, you heard the term about gene therapy, although it is much more complicated and expensive now, but hopefully it will come sometime. And it is being used for lots of things, including I specifically worked on knockout mice, little bit, few pictures will be there. Next one. So the mice they found, very interesting thing. All of you know that, say a guy who is driving 18-wheeler from south of McAllen, if you look at the map of Texas, it has some kind of similarity with the Indian map. So somebody from Trivandrum or south Kanyakumari driving all the way to Kashmir, see how tired that guy would be. And he is eating 72 ounces of meat, digesting it happily, no problem. Whereas one of my friend's wife in Dallas, she is vegetarian, whatever, sometimes she eats egg, but her cholesterol level goes high, 260, 250, 400 sometimes. How come? The receptors, which we call LDL receptor, present on the cell, that cannot function, and it's leaving the fat inside. Rockefeller scientists found there is a molecular switch that makes you are just eating potato and rice, and you are becoming fatter and fatter. Whereas somebody is eating meat, as I said, lots of stuff, nothing is happening. So you have to blame the molecular switch next time you do that. Next one, please. So they developed that September 12, 2002, one of my colleague was there, UT Southwestern, they developed tagging, fluorescent tagging in mice. That can be used for lots of medical research. Next one. So I was talking about, just go all the way and it will come out. So basically this is our cell membrane. If you go through learn more, that they have, next one, yes, they have the receptors, yes, channels, somebody said, very good, you have the idea, ion channels, ion receptors. And so all of those basically are so important. After 1972, Springer first time developed, okay, Springer and Nicholson, they developed the model. Then we started looking at, now I tell the students, probably you are not interested in looking at these. You are thinking about that's nothing to see about, and why should we be interested in that? When I tell you all kinds of diseases, disorder, Alzheimer's, all kinds of cancer, heart attack, all those are related with the receptors. Estrogen receptor, you know about. Breast cancer and all other types of things. Colon cancer caused by, again, malfunctioning of the receptors. Just told you the story about the lady who is partially vegetarian, just having that much high level of cholesterol. LDL receptors are not functioning for her. So that's the story over there, and that's the work a major number of scientists are focusing on today. Next one, please. Yeah, next one. Yes. So I'm showing you some knockout mice, what they do, and I was part of that, multi-organ. Autonomic dysfunction means not functioning. So if you want to do some study, what you have to do? You get some human being? No, you'll be prosecuted. So the best model, genetic model, we say, that's mice. And you see the color they developed here? Yes. That's because of the gene transfer. We call them transgenic mice. Next one, please. So I also was part of the team, and that was very difficult process. You have to cut the section, cryo section, with cryostat in dark. And that was yellow fluorescence protein that is being expressed in the cytoplasm, not in the nucleus, as you can see. So that kind of tagging could be done. Next one, please. So we did the work. So the simple concept is there are some genes which, when not present, what will happen to human body? Again, you cannot do in the human body, so we developed knockout mice, where that particular gene was disabled to study what will happen to human being, particularly in the children. So we had 20 different institutions working in the world together to resolve those issues. Next one. So now sustainability of the biosphere is under a big question mark. Just look at the number. There is a forest cover loss of 8 acres per minute. Forest fire incidences increased. 8 acres, how much is 8 acres? Almost a football ground. So 8 such football grounds is getting denuded, deforested, forest cover, the trees are gone. And I have a picture I think I use every time. So forest fire has been increased more than 30%, if you believe it or not. Probably you check on the website, you'll find like in California, part of Texas, then look at other countries like Australia, big forest fire destroyed 1,100 species. So it is normally when it is happening, it is recycling things, but when the number increases, we are losing forest. Next one, please. I put a picture here, probably you know about we used to call it Babui Pakir Basha. Yes. I saw those were in Natural History Museum in Harvard University. They kept it and I felt like so, homely they're looking at that. And we used to play over there like in villages when you used to go to my maternal uncle's home. You can see this little tiny bird can build. They are under threat. They are basically on the verge of extinction because of high level of pollution. Their habitats are going away, and on the YouTube, the information you will find. It's also in Indonesia and Southeast Asia. Those were prevalent. Now you don't see them very. All the bird population is going down, by the way, all over the world. Next one, please. So deforestation, I was talking about the most important thing, forests still cover about 30% of world's land area. 1980s when we were students, 1982, 83, we used to learn that by 2010, 33% forest cover will be left, rest portion will be gone. We have been listening to that. Now, not 33, but only 30% left. I repeat, only 30% forest cover left. How do you know that? Because I was in a conference and United Nations in Montreal, Canada, back 1997, the scientist was presenting over there showing that the map, hand-drawn maps from 1800 because no computer was there, but all the way most recent maps, you can see the green is replaced by brown. Any high school student can tell that what is happening. If you look at satellite images from California all the way to Texas, major area, the forest cover is gone, it's being destroyed. So that's the story. Next one, please. So we know that deforestation drives the climate change. We understand that very well. Sun blocking trees are going away, the canopies are gone, and already discussed about greenhouse gases and global warming. Next. So the worst part when I see back 1990 under India government project DNES, we had 3 professors and 4 researchers. We went to study the flora in eastern India, specifically orchids. Beautiful orchids in Nepal, Himalayas and eastern region if you used to go. Many of the species are now gone. You don't see them because people are chopping down the trees. That's the question comes, why people are chopping down the trees? I tell the students over there, they don't realize unless you visit the places. People are so poor, they don't care about what kind of rare species orchid is growing over there. You chop it down for cooking and heating. 83% to 88% some places, people are dependent on trees. So that's one thing we have to be concerned. Next one, please. And by 40 years, the last line, can you please go back? The last line was important. Rainforest, you know about Amazonian rainforest, what is happening. Lots of politics involved over there. One of my American students worked on that, a group, and they figured out that. So within 40 years, totally it will be gone, only 6% left. Next one. So that is happening. As you can see, I was telling you the story, all the part turning brown. This little green will be gone because we are eating away. Next one. So I always show that picture to show you the simple experiment carried out by Joseph Priestley, and he was showing that the mouse is very happy as long as this plant is there, but mouse gets hungry, there is no cheese or anything, so it gets hungry and start eating the plant. Finishing up the last leaf, what will happen? Guess. The mouse will die. It's very simple. You don't have to know rocket science to know that. And we are behaving like that mouse. That's the most unfortunate part. Saving the trees, I'm not going in detail because we have limited time, but think about if you read Chipko movement, okay, you know about that. So we, in West Bengal particularly, we worship the trees like Ficus religiosa, Asatha and Bot. Okay, you cannot chop down them. At the same time, we have to worship all the trees. And there are lots of things that are coming about trees' life, their behavior, and this world-renowned scientist, you cannot turn them down. So, no cutting the trees unless they are ready. Now, then how do you get the wooden stuff? What they're telling, 2004, I was in Wisconsin Medicine, the conference, Botanical Society of America, the tree biologists, they were telling, it's not like you cannot cut the tree. Chop it down, cut it and use it when they are ready, they're about to die. And one scientist, a student, she was awarded for Isao Award because of her work. She developed the technique how to get the age of the plant without cutting the trees. Next one, please. So I'm almost done. I'm talking about the mangroves. We had lots of discussions on mangrove, and Tanmoy was there. Are you here? Tanmoy at that time from Channel 9 focused on that, talked about mangrove. Why mangrove? Why mangrove? All over the world, they are our lifesavers. Do you know if Sundarban is gone, Kolkata will be merged with sea? So I'm not telling that. World-renowned scientists are telling, Discovery Channel, it shows. And Bangladesh, it's happening already, part of the land is going under ocean. Mangroves are protecting us. You take the mangroves out, what's the adaptation in mangroves? Pneumatophores, very good, they're well learned. The pneumatophores, they spread the root in such a way, they keep the landmass, they protect the landmass. And what we are doing, we are destroying them so that we can get killed. It's kind of suicidal. Next one, please. So that's my lab, and lots of students have contributed over there. Physicians over there, they have been contributing. Dr. Mark Olsen, and during advising, I'll talk about the story about this lady. I was discussing with Director Sir, Birla, and serving as the FDA scientist, and in our molecular biology. Next one, please. And I would like to thank Mr. Suwabrata Chakraborty, the Director Sir, and then Srinu, definitely, he took the trouble to call me all the time, asking about protocol and what will be your lecture on everything, and all of my research students who provided data for this. Thank you so much. All of you have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
Do I answer to the question now? Do we have time? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. If you have any question, go ahead, please.
So you said that you said about mRNA vaccines, but my question is, for normal vaccines, we have to be prepared for the mutation because the vaccines will not provide any support against mutated viruses.
None of the vaccines do.
mRNA vaccines need.
No, if you, it's targeting the present strains. That's how they develop the sequence. Nowadays, as you know, mRNA or DNA or mRNA sequences are done in the lab, and then you can, synthesize accordingly. But none of the vaccine in the world can guarantee you. That's what I was telling. Like I asked a question to NIH scientist. None of the vaccine can provide you support
Protection
against flu virus or anything you think about. So if it is getting mutated, again the question comes, because the problem with that virus, that was RNA virus, as you know, COVID we think about, okay? So SARS-CoV they call it. So basically that got mutated so many times, 284 times, as I supported the view with ribozyme over there, because ribozyme, remember, that works as a, RNA can work as a catalyst, it can change itself. Like in the scary movies, somebody is trying to kill it, it develop the wings and start flying. That exactly that thing is happening now. The good part, as I read the recent report, the new mutation always not harmful. So some mutated one are the weak strains, so we don't care about that. Okay? So yes, so we have to protect ourselves. So any mutation occurs in future for any bacteria, any virus, or any fungi.
Yes, I have one more question. Then
Right.
what is the biggest advantage of mRNA vaccine against regular vaccines?
The regular vaccine, as I mentioned over there, if you read that, it says like dead viruses, part of bacteria are injected. mRNA doesn't affect your genome. Human genome is not affected. It stays, it gets expressed in the nucleus. So that's one thing. And it is comparatively safe. Okay? So when you are getting the dead viruses or bacteria, if there is some strains which has the heat shock protein resistance or something like that, that still remain alive, and that can do harm in your system. mRNA, no way it will do.
Harmless.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Yes, you can ask.
Sir, you said we should not throw the antibiotic in the industry.
Right.
So what should we do? What we should do?
Excellent question. Nowadays in United States they provide you a vial, and I was telling that that should be free, otherwise nobody is going to purchase for $3 vial just to dispose of the extra medicine. First of all, if the physician, like Dr. Banerjee, recommends you an antibiotic, telling that 2 couplets, 500 milligram, 500 mg for 15 days. So you should complete that, okay? And so then there is no antibiotic left, that's one thing. In case the doctor tells you in some case, like, you know, you got some other complications, so went to visit the doctor, and the doctor recommended like you don't take antibiotic anymore, then you should get it disposed of. I don't know really, Dr. Banerjee can tell, we don't have much system in here, but that should be disposed of as hazardous chemical. Okay? But if not, you can see highest number of antibiotic resistance bacteria in and he can tell. I think you had a seminar and you were talking about that.
In discriminating use of antibiotics, you know that weak antibiotics means weak spectrum.
Right.
They are using like anything, you know.
Broad spectrum antibiotic. They give you broad spectrum antibiotic.
There should be an antibiotic policy of a country.
Yeah.
There is a policy also there. Nobody bothers about that.
Definitely. True. Anybody else? Yeah, go ahead please.
So just now as you said that the mangroves are a lifeline nowadays, like they are protecting us to getting submerged. So like recently, a few days earlier, I visited Sundarban, the Boikontapur region, and I got a chance to like attend a seminar of DFO and ADFO. So they were telling that they are planning to grow mangroves again, but they are following the old traditional way that will take a long time. Why they don't use these biotechnological processes and they can make the propagules and then they can grow it faster rate and they can have.
Very good question. Now for this project, these types of projects, it takes lots of funding. That's one major thing. I just, one day back I visited a tissue culture lab, in vitro culture lab, where you can produce thousands of plants at a time. So that is done here in India, and I visited like at TIFR or ISC Bangalore or PTKV in Maharashtra. They have beautiful tissue culture labs and propagating the plants. But take them to the soil and growing, you have lots of steps required and funding required. Now I can give you the idea like why mangroves are important all over the world. That was 2013, Botanical Society of America meeting was there in Louisiana. Louisiana is the site, our neighbor in Texas. So Louisiana State University, LSU, one scientist took us, to survey the plants, looking at, collecting samples. And what he was telling, he was a senior professor from 1970s, he was working over there, and he said, Dr. Ghosh, do you know where we are on the boat? Almost 40 miles area, square area. That was land back 1970s. Now it's water, we are on the boat. So that is happening all over the world. I watched a video from Discovery Channel, and a lady was basically interviewed in Bangladesh. And what she was speaking, I understand Bengali very well, so I understood what she was telling, although they translated that. So she was telling, my home was there, almost a mile south. Now I am here, next year maybe I have to go 1 mile north because the land mass is eating away, it's going down to the ocean. It's a big problem. Mangrove only can save us, and Louisiana has that program, and he was showing, pointing, these are the mangroves they started already planting. We need whatever we have in Sundarban should be protected with stringent law, and more, as you said, even traditional breeding, okay. I mean, whatever we can to save, right? I mean, because tissue culture, that's a big step and will take some time. Why not getting the mangrove seed collected and plant over there? I personally worked on mangrove genetics with a group of scientists in India. So I know we have the assets, believe me, there is no such asset in any part of the world.
Sir, I have one more question.
Sure, go ahead.
Sir, like there was a conflict in that seminar only that one part of people were telling that we need to regrow mangrove, the other part of people they were telling that we don't need to regrow mangrove, just we have to save whatever we have, and that will be enough. So what do you say?
Both are correct. Whatever we have, the trees we have, okay, we need to protect them. So I was a CSIR fellow for Government of India for a long time back, and our question was what kind of mangroves, the species. You can tell the names, I forgot. Dr. Das is here, he is also taxonomist and principal, and he can tell you the names more, starting from Soneraceae apatala, what we call Sundari Gach, right? So, Brugueria, yes, Brugueria. So, and Rhizophora and all those. So there are, see, I still remember, even not being a taxonomist, there are quite a few. So there are beautiful mangroves over there in Sundarban. Definitely, there shouldn't be fight with that. Like it is just two brothers are fighting each other. Okay, you should not eat, I should not eat. It is just like that. Both should eat to survive, right? Food. So the same way I'm telling you, whatever asset you have, keep them. Make stringent law. If you have to put the color that is not harmful for the trees, put the color over there. If someone is chopping down, they should be prosecuted immediately. And more mangroves should be planted, just like they're doing in the state of Louisiana, in Florida, part of California, all facing towards the ocean. And there is erosion, soil erosion, that can be prevented by mangroves. Thank you.
Anyone? Yes.
Sir, we know that nowadays ozone layer is depleting. For which the UV radiation of the sun is coming to the earth and making us skin cancer and mutating the bacteria.
Right.
So is there any way to save the ozone core or to recreate or to, is there any way?
Yeah. First of all, one step has been taken, not using CFC anymore. CFC is chlorofluorocarbon. So earlier we used in all refrigerator, in cars as well.
Yes, yes.
Those were used, now it is totally banned in United States. Actually, we had an older refrigerator, they have trashed it. So first of all, we have to stop using that kind of chlorofluorocarbon or that kind of chemicals, because what they do, they call it, it is like serial killer. One single chlorofluorocarbon molecule, it will destroy 1 million, okay, 1 million of ozone. And then basically ozone is useful for us because it's giving you an umbrella. So think about rain. Well, in winter time it's raining also in Calcutta, we didn't see much. But anyway, when it's raining very hard, think of, you just make the holes in your umbrella, how much protection you can get. So,
Thank you, sir.
thank you. All right, thank you so much. If you have any other question, we can discuss about that later. I'll take up. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
In fact, my schedule was not there in the original plan, but still I am tempted to tell something. As a part of whatever Dr. Ghosh has enlightened us, I am happy to feel that my lifestyle is not always right in making me obese, even if I take very less.
No, you have lost lots of weight.
That is there. But since we talk a lot about environment and all the things, and since the future of the country is in your hand, I would like to share with you, maybe some of you know or most of you know, but still I think that, let me repeat, it is just Bengali, story, that an ambitious king wanted to have a pond full of milk. So he digged that pond and told the countrymen around that each of you should pour 1 bucket full of milk so that next day morning I can have a pond full of milk. But what happened? That countrymen like me or like you all will think, okay, others will pour milk. So let me, why should I waste my milk? So I will pour water. So almost most of the people thought in that way. In the morning, what was found, it was simple a pond full of water. As far as environmental issues are concerned, we always think, okay, I am throwing this plastic, oh, I am doing this one. No matter, others are there to take care. Statutory bodies are there, other fellows are there, they will do it. So my little insensibility, irresponsibility will not spoil. But that is not the case. And its cumulative effect is tremendous. There is a saying, in fact there is a theory called Gaia theory in the ancient Greek civilization, and it was told that if you torture the nature, nature will take revenge on you. Exactly that is happening. So it is the time for all of you to rise to the occasion as an individual, not only get sensitized over such occasion, but try to sensitize the people around, sensitize the people who are not that way initiated, because ours is a country of 140 crore. All are not educated, all do not have access to education or economic benefits. And that is one of the major reasons we are gradually going down as far as environmental issues are concerned. But since it is a country with more than 450, dialects, with almost 250 local religion, and lot of indigenous practices are there here and there. Try to nurture, possibly through local initiatives, we can come out of this impending menace. And it is you people, when you travel around, you please see, government bodies are there to help it. Yes, rightly he has told that Indian Science Congress, that scheme has been withdrawn, something is coming in place. So government is already taking a serious thought into it. And also you will find that for rampant use of antibiotics, government has put the laws in place. You go to any shop, you will find those prescribed drugs have got red marks over it. It can't be sold across the counter. But it is found
Without prescription.
yes, this cannot be purchased without prescription. But in a country like us, the best doctors are the pharmacists who are sitting just over there. You go, you'll find the people working in your family, they are going, gola ব্যথা হয়েছে কি খাবো, ঠিক আছে এই চারটে ওষুধ খেয়ে নাও, take this medicine. Within 2 days it will be done. And if you happen to be there, try to sensitize him or her that is not the way you can. Don't think that his problem will not affect you. Yes, it is going to affect you also. So try to think globally and act locally. With that, I thank you all for this session. I thank Dr. Ghosh, the other dignitaries. Now it's the time for my colleague to offer the customary vote of thanks. Thank you.
I'm sure all of you are very much enlightened with the insight provided by the Professor Nabarun Ghosh. So if you see all these topics, especially life science graduates and postgraduates who are pursuing, you have come across these topics, right? But the thing is that at current times, how research is happening in diversified areas of the biotechnology, right from the environmental science to now Professor Ghosh has covered varieties of the areas like nanotechnology and vaccines, in the area of vaccines, and microbiology, and burning issues, especially top burning issues are, if you see, so global warming and antibiotic drug resistance, and some other topics which are, all these are burning issues. Now, being a life science enthusiast, aspirants, there is a lot of scope in terms of career and future also. Now the biotechnology can be used to solve the global concerns. The objective of organizing these sort of programs and to find out the solutions, as our directors are told, practice is a very much important thing, like one should have responsibility in terms of practice. And as you two students are concerned, there are ample opportunities are there, and we should try to solve the global issues. So that is the summary now we could get from today's lesson. And indeed, we express our sincere thanks to Professor Nabarun Ghosh, despite his busy schedule, and he spared some time for us today to come over here and to address our students and the current trends of the research in the area of biotechnology and global concerns and global problems. I also express our sincere thanks to parents, those who are here and those who are viewing from the online platform, and for the parents for their support, sending their walls here to gain some practical experiences. So I express my sincere thanks to students for coming over here and taking part into this program and enjoying the session and actively engaging in the session. I also express our sincere thanks to all our department people who are very much involved in organizing in this successful manner. Okay, so at the end of this session, we will conclude this lecture session now. But following this lecture session, we have one practical session, assessing the chlorophyll molecule. We also now got that means one of the important molecule, which is key molecule in the biomass production, which is the key molecule, and some more insights will gain to the practical. So with this, we conclude the lecture session. We'll move to the practical session with a 5 minutes break.